These are shots from the site of the explosion.
Specifically at Anto Abosso quarry site. It's called the Omni Quarry site. This site, we understand, was in the hands of Ghanaians before it changed over to the Chinese management. And unfortunately, I witnessed Apiate. I am currently here at Anto Abosso, the quarry site, the Omni Quarry site. And comparatively, I will say that I am very much overwhelmed. Because if my grounds camera would get you the crack on which I'm currently standing, this is only a few meters, just a few inches away from the epicenter. And the epicenter was where I kind of opened up for you. And so my grounds camera would zoom in closely to bring you the epicenter background. This last the raw, they are crushed into stones and then sold onto the market for us. Interestingly,
okay, so as we try to establish the connection, so this is the site of the quarry explosion that took place on Saturday. This is the epicenter. This is like the ground zero of where the explosion took place. And as you can see, it's total devastation and destruction. It's almost unbelievable. The amount of damage from the force of this explosion that occurred and took away the lives of so far 5 people. You can see
the trucks used in carting the box turned into stones and they're sold onto the market. The blunt of huge these can be called trucks. I am slowly walking toward the truck, and you can't say anything about mini 4x4s or trucks. They to rubble. I come over closely to give us a good detail on the devastations or the destructions as has happened to tracks. Interestingly, some of the things we have found this morning, viewer discretion, I beg your pardon, but we have found human flesh scattered around. We have seen.
Obviously, the force of this explosion is unimaginable. I mean, these are heavy equipment and buildings that have just been reduced to rubble. It's almost like a bomb went off in the area, and it's if you harken back to the press release I just read, this action was happening at a residential area. So you can imagine that a lot of people would have. I mean, this is completely shocking to them, but not just about a year and a half after Apiati, and then we are having a situation like this happening in the western region. So this is what it looks like, the quarry site explosion that took place over the weekend. So far, 5 people reported dead, and it's just a scene of utter devastation and destruction. Mr. Alipo, yes. There has to be some consequences for this.
Yes, obviously. And well, moving from where I started, first of all, I want to wish or express my condolences to the bereaved family and people who were affected by this explosion. It's a very sad situation, and the most striking issue there is that they said this company has not been allowed or permitted to carry out this operation. I also heard in your in the report that this was a site, an existing quarry site that management has changed to the Chinese. Yeah, I think that you see all of this. I believe in the coming days, because investigation has begun, in the coming days we'll get more, and then we'll be able to get into the very details, fine details. But there are regulators for all these kind of activities. You see, if the regulators are diligent enough, I believe that some of these things can be prevented. Because we have also heard that there was an application for them to carry out the operation. And so as long as the application has been presented, I believe that some kind of inspections may have been going on. And if inspections were going on, then they probably have to be watching closely and monitoring to ensure that they prevent this kind of situation. But unfortunately, this is what we have now. and happening, I think, about within 3 years with the PRT disaster. I think is very sad, and our regulators shouldn't be interested in only what they would get from these activities, but to make sure also that they protect lives and property, and they regulate the proper operation of these activities, especially where dangerous and explosives and whatever elements and whatever you call it, nitrate are here. If these things are used, and especially also in residential areas, or if the site is close to residential areas, then they have to also be upbeat and make sure that they put the people in check, so that we prevent these kind of things.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I hope that once we've heard that the Minerals Commission has come in and investigation has started, we hope that we'll get more details, and as the days come by, we'll get more things to talk about on this. Yeah.
Awesome. Norman, your initial thoughts about this?
Yeah, thank you, Kafui. Let me take the opportunity to say a good morning to yourself and your crew, and then to cherished viewers. I don't think it would be out of place to also say hi to the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and all the aspirants wanting to lead the MPP into victory 2024. I think His Excellency, former President Mahama, is looking forward to another defeat come 2024.
Okay. Now that the greetings are out of the way, just like your man, let me go to the Shama district, where Alan can report from the site of the explosion. Alan, hi. Welcome back.
Back to us. Cap, where I'm standing currently, as I mentioned earlier, took the brunt of the impact because it's only a few meters away from the epicenter. And so the cars, the trucks, the drilling machines, the excavators, all have currently been destroyed. My camera is pointing in the direction of a few of the trucks. Just before the truck stood a building, a story building where stuff are kept or stored. This has all been reduced to rubble. And at the time of the blast, we're told there were some people on site. And so what police are telling us on the ground, and some eyewitnesses, I'll call them, even though they were not on site at the time of the blast, but then I have to run to site to assist with evacuation. These said 4 persons have died, and we have as many as about 7 scattered in hospitals across the region. And then what we have here again, as you can see behind me, some of the trucks which took the brunt of the explosion, and these have all been destroyed. These can, I'll be surprised if anybody can restore them. Very unfortunate. Those who survived, will be those who were on site. And so my ground camera is going to go in that direction for us, pointing to the crashing site. Those who were there, we're told, are the ones who survived, and these were able to escape, some with injuries, minor, and some severe. These were the ones who are currently in hospitals across the region, receiving treatment and responding gracefully. Apart from those, Selma, when you go in the next direction where my camera is going to point, it to the eastward, and my overhead is also in that direction. My eye in the sky is going to give us a good detail towards the pit. There, when we walked, and that will take you about a good 5-8 minutes to walk to where you have the pit. And over there, we found human remains scattered around, and a very, very sad situation, and very terrifying sight to behold. I am not that strong when it comes to blood and human remains. And so, to some extent, I was running away, but the policeman would say, no, you are here to report it. Stay and do it. And so I had to brace myself for it, and it is a really, really very terrible sight. What we are told, and we're waiting for the DCE, who has agreed to speak to us at some point, and so he's driving to this location as I bring you this report. We were looking forward to having some background to the changing over from when it was in the hands of Ghanaian managers and then coming into the hands of Chinese managers, and then what proper health and safety regulations or instructions were issued before the mine operation or the quarries operation, which at the moment has left the nation in some state of mourning. Remember, only a year and a few months ago, the nation witnessed a PSA, and we have seen a second. Then this calls to question what kind of regulation or inspectorate directorate checks when these sites are going to be allowed to operate. At least for our PSA, we know it was a transportation of explosives, but this storage of explosives on site, and this is what it has left. What were some of the safety guards put in place to ensure that these storage facilities are well away from any sparks? Indeed, ammonia in its raw state, and it requires a certain amount of spark, heat, or fire, if you call it so, to ignite and wreak this kind of havoc. Unfortunately, we are unable to speculate the state in which these were stored. The only thing we know is that ammonia was stored on site, the leftover was stored, and it is what really has caused the devastation as we can see it. Once again, our eye in the sky is bringing us a cover of the epicenter where the actual blast took place.
You find that it looks more like an earthquake with so much cracks, huge cracks in the ground, and that is evidence or testament to the extent to which the devastation has been. My camera is going towards where the staff who work here have their uniforms or their working gear stored. It is really very sad, Kafui.
The state of the site is nothing to write home about, nothing to be excited about. Absolute chaos and absolute carnage. But we have been joined by the Honorable Assembly Member for the area, Honorable Emmanuel Ewiri, and he, we are told, was caught up in the blast. So I'm going to go to him immediately and find out what he knew about it or how he got caught up in it. Thank you very much, Honorable. Good morning once again.
Yeah, my brother, good morning. I'm grateful.
We heard you were caught up in the blast. How did that happen?
Yes. A nice experience. Once in a lifetime. I was asleep when I got up and realized my ceiling was on me. So I had to clear the ceiling and find out what caused that. It was when I got up and realized that there was steam of smoke and dust in the air. And I realized I suspected maybe it was coming from one of our transformers.
Okay.
But upon mobilizing some of my youth when we came around, it wasn't the transformer, but coming from one of the quarry companies around.
Honorable, you have known about this quarry for a very long time. At least it was in the hands of Ghanaians before it came into the hands of the Chinese. When the Chinese started the operation, did you have the opportunity to visit the site to abreast yourself with their operation?
Yes, I did. I had the opportunity of coming around to actually familiarize myself with the operation because the then company that was in existence, Omni Quarry. I had friends and guys who were working there, personally because of job factor. I had to ensure that people around, they use around, get some sort of job. So I used to come here frequently. You see, once you correct this thing, the name Omni Quarry still exists in terms of documentation, in terms of government recognition, in terms of papers. It's just the name of the SDR account that has come up. They are a company that wants to change over and take over from Omni Quarry. Right. And as of now, all documents that they use in the name of Omni Quarry. So I've been here. I've had personal interaction with their general manager, one guy by name, I think twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, I come around to see some of the activities that even though when it comes, sometimes it's difficult because I have to be very honest with you. The Chinese, for lack of a better word, let me say some of them are stubborn, they are stony. If you want to come to their premises to actually familiarize yourself with the activity they do, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult. Still come back, a problem for you if you don't take care. You can't do that. But I've been here several times to know what the activity.
Okay. All right, and so Selma, if you're still with us, we have some family members coming around. We had a few of them come around earlier, spoke to the police, and they went back. but we've also heard somewhere in the distance, some also are joining us. We're going to bring on the NADMO director for NADMO in this municipality to also tell us what he knew. But before we bring him on, let me give Honorable the last word before he leaves. He's in a hurry to go attend a presser, so let me give him the last word. Honorable, given what you have just told us, we're not sure. Chief, join me here. You are my best friend. Join me here. Good. We're not sure what the real situation is now. From your authoritative position, what can you tell us especially about the death toll, the injured, and also communities which may have been affected as a result of this explosion?
Okay, so let me start from communities which may affected. This is Anto Abosso electoral area. The land belongs to Asoko, and the operation of the activity is, in fact, mostly from the people of Anto Abosso electoral area, specifically Kobana and the Krum, where you just came from. When you walk from here to the last community by name Udawasi Junction, which ends my electoral area, possibly Emi Takrum, almost every particular household Amasi has been affected. Wow. Yesterday when we went round from the Chief Palace to my own house to our health center, the facility is down. So now the only health facility that serves
Amasi has been affected. Wow. Yesterday when we went round from the Chief Palace to my own house to our health center, the facility is down. So now the only health facility the people of the area is closed down now because the place cannot be accessible. It is not good for them. So most of the community, about 7 communities here have all been affected. In terms of personalities or workers or death toll that has been involved, we had 22 workers here by then. Okay. Out of the 20, we had 3 that passed on. They were blacks. And then we had 1 Chinese lady who also passed on. In fact, she's the one that we're not able to have the full body, the complement of the body to even see either she's Adwa or Manson or whatsoever, because we found the body parts elsewhere and then we were able to get at it. So that is it. And then yesterday we were able to identify another 1 Chinese man whom we have also transported to the morgue. So currently as we speak, 5 dead, 2 whites, 3 blacks. And then those hospitalized, also 5 in a critical condition, 2 at Efian Kwanta, 2 at Benedict Hospital, and 1 at European Hospital. Right. Now we are looking for 3 more additional Chinese. We are trying to find out where they are. We can't find their whereabouts. Right. Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I'd leave you to attend to other matters. Nadmo wants to leave, but Nadmo, Honorable has painted us a picture of the devastation and the communities affected. What is Nadmo doing for those who have been affected in this situation?
The communities, we are talking about the communities. Yes. Yeah, Nadmo is going to the communities, each community to take, to familiarize themselves with the buildings that have been affected and registering them so that we get our data. Right. After getting our data, then we know what to do. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So a compilation of data will give you a fairer idea on what to do and who needs your help. Okay. Since you are in a rush to get to the RCC for the presser, I'd leave you to attend it. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Thank you very much. On the ground and waiting also on the police.
Families keep coming in every now and then, and the police will be on hand to assist them in the way to go about it. Nobody is allowed to go on site because it's still a crime scene, and so people are no longer allowed to even visit there. But as the NADMO man said, we clearly don't have a very clearer understanding of the extent to which this has affected communities or people who live around here. In any case, it would be a little later when they have gone round and know who has been affected, the extent of the effect and everything, before they can then be able to design a certain help for them. Appear on my mind, we're still reeling and this. So far, this has been Keep an Eye coming to you from Anto Abosso in the western region, the Shama district to be precise, where a blast at a quarry site has left in its wake a huge devastation. Thank you very much for coming to us. My name, as always, is Darrell Alantego. Thank you.